Live from Garry O'Neill Studios in Baltimore.
You're listening to the See.Plan.Do show with Garry O'Neill.
All right, here you go. DJ.
Happy birthday! Yeah! What's up, everybody? What's up? Season 6, episode 3, entitled The Iron Interviewing. All right? And in this episode, we're going to get right to how you can ace an interview. But without further ado, can I introduce myself? If this is your first time, I'm Mr. Garry. Welcome. First of all, welcome to the See.Plan.Do show with me, professional mindset coach, business coach, relationship coach, life, whatever coach you need me to be, Mr. Garry O'Neill Jr. And as always, when you see me loading up a second plate for Thanksgiving, please, don't worry about my plates. But don't forget the Junior. Shout out to Pops. And in this episode, like I said, we're going to be going over how to score, how to have an amazing interview. All right? So, can we get to my shout outs? Absolutely. So, my day one A1 listeners. All right? Thank you. Mi corazón, mi familia. All right? First time watchers or listeners, thank you for showing up. You could have been anywhere in the world. People that are inside the U.S., outside of the U.S., my candy corn crew, my OGs, my directors, thank you. All right? So can we get right to it? I'm looking forward to this episode because I've been doing interviews for so long and people get so scared about interviews. And I got you today. I got you. This is the interview. This is the episode for you if you've been worrying about interviews. All right? So let's get right to our See.Plan.Do moment of the week. So right after a brief word from our sponsors, we'll get right to it.
Are you looking to get certified in CPR, first aid, or other life-saving skills? Heart Savers Maryland is your premier CPR training facility. Individual and classroom sessions available. Schedule your training at heartsaversmd.com. Each second counts. Get trained today.
New moment of the week, sponsored by Heart Savers Maryland, is attitude of gratitude. Right now, we are in the Thanksgiving week, and I just want you, first of all, I just want to say thank you. Whoever is watching this, whoever is listening to this, I want to take just a moment out. I say thank you every episode, but I want to take this particular moment just to say thank you. You could be watching anything. There are a million other podcasts. There are a million other things you could watch. There are other things. And when we're talking about gratitude, I'm grateful for you. I try to show my gratitude every day. Now, the lesson that I wanted to talk about with the attitude of gratitude is that Thanksgiving is not just the time where we should just be thankful, right? We should be thankful all the time. And I'm not saying that it's not hard to be thankful, especially if you're going through things. But what I want you to understand is focusing on what you're thankful for, focusing on the things that you have, makes it easier for you to get the things that you want. Too many times, if you see on social media, if you see out and about, people are not thankful for what they have until, unfortunately, it gets taken away, right? So what I want you to do is just, for the next week, just take a moment and just think about at least one thing when you get up that you're thankful for. Guess what my one thing I'm thankful for? Viewers like you. All right, that's your See.Plan.Do moment of the week, sponsored by Heart Savers Maryland. Attitude of gratitude. All right, so let's get to our song of the week. Guess what? Our Greenlight Entertainment song of the week. Of course, if you're on YouTube, this is a perfect time to go ahead and smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. And while you're there, look down below and you'll see my playlist. You know, we can't really post songs like that. But in the playlist, I have a playlist that has all the songs for the song of the week, the intro song. So right after a brief word from our sponsor, you'll hear our song of the week. We'll get right to it.
Having a wedding, birthday party, or other social or corporate event, contact Greenlight Entertainment today. With our experienced DJs, quality sound, and professional service, we look to make your event the event. Check us out on the web at www.greenlightentertain.com. With Greenlight Entertainment, you have the green light.
All right, that was your song of the week. You know the vibes. Tu sabes las vibras. And again, season 6, episode 3, entitled The I in Interviewing, where we are going to be going over how you can ace an interview. All right, so, but let's get to our appetizer. Our appetizer of the week is very special. And I wanted to take time out during this Thanksgiving season, during this holiday season. And with this appetizer, I wanted to highlight how, if you are a person who has lost family members, if you are going through grief or depression, here's how I want to assist you in that. So your appetizer highlights how to deal with grief or depression or stress during the holidays. All right, number 1, set realistic expectations for yourself. And that simply means examine the tasks, the events, the things that you need to go, the things that are available for this holiday season, and really just examine it and see if you have the bandwidth to attend it. See if you have the bandwidth to complete those tasks. It's okay if you don't. But ask yourself, is this something that you want to do? Okay? If you do it, great. If you don't feel like you have the bandwidth, if you don't feel like you're there, then just simply let your people know. The next thing is going to be surrounding yourself with people who love and support you. A lot of times, and you know, the season finale of season 5, I talked about my experience working, and I currently work there, working in a mental health capacity, working with 988. You can always check the episode by clicking here. But when I talked about it, the biggest thing I noticed from people is that they feel like they're a burden because they're going through grief. They're going through issues. They're going through a tough time during the holiday season. And that's a myth. It's not, and they don't want to burden other people. Your friends are your friends, and your friends should be there for the good times as well as the bad times. So surround yourself with people who love you and support you. Often, too many times, people that are going through a rough time during the holiday season, they tend to isolate themselves. And that is one of the things that really doesn't work out for people. So simply, just surround yourself with people who love you and support you. All right? The next thing in reference to how to deal with grief, how to deal with any type of stress, depression during this holiday season, you may have lost a loved one, is avoid canceling events. I know I just said, hey, see if it's in your bandwidth. But what I mean is that some people will immediately say, no, I can't do it. I'm not able to do it. I can't do it. What I want you to do is just see, hey, am I able to do this? You should make time for solitude. You should take time to sort of have time for yourself. But it's a difference between solitude and isolation. All right? So you should try to have a healthy balance between, you know, you have the solitude, but also still being able to attend planned activities. And again, this is within your bandwidth. This is just a general idea. If you can do it, great. If you can't do it, it's understandable. And the next one is allowing yourself to feel. Guys, we're not robots. If you're going through a tough time during the holiday season, it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that you can be joyful. It's okay to acknowledge that you're happy, and it's also okay to acknowledge that you're sad, you're angry, you're experiencing depression. It's okay to acknowledge those things. And when those waves of feelings happen, acknowledge them and just go with it. It's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay for you to have feelings, regardless of where you are. Some people feel like, oh, I'm the oldest, or I'm the person that does everything. I can't feel. That's not right. And that's not true. You are allowed to feel. You have feelings. Take time out and acknowledge and accept your feelings. And the last thing is take care of yourself. Too often, people go negative when it's time to take care of themselves during this holiday season. They self-medicate with drugs as well as sometimes with alcohol. All right? So avoid those things. Avoid that self-medication. Avoid that drinking. Focus on your self-care. And what does healthy self-care look like to you? All right? Give yourself permission to be cared for. Give yourself permission to have self-care. All right, that is your appetizer of this episode. All right, can we get to our entree? Of course we can. All right, so our appetizer. Our entree, season 6, episode 3, the I in interviewing. This is for you. So if you saw last week's episode, fuck around and find out. One of the biggest things that people want to fuck around and find out is that can they get a new job? Can they get a better job? Can they get a position? Right? So if you are looking to ace an interview, but you feel like you're having problems, this episode is for you. All right, so let me give you a little background on me. I have been an interviewer for a long time. Different jobs, different organizations. I always would be on an interview panel. So listen to your favorite 6'8" bearded life coach. I promise you, you go through these, you'll be good. All right, so the first thing, let's talk about the reason why people feel like they're having a poor interview. The biggest reason why people don't do well on interviews surrounds their confidence. A lot of people are not confident when they're going to interviews, and we're going to talk about that. So being confident is a matter of doing all the work behind the scenes. So when it's time for you to sit in front of the panel, you're already ready. No different than me sitting here right now and looking at the camera. It doesn't matter what it is. I could not even written this down, and I know how to spit all this because I'm a professional. This is what I do. All right. So the first thing is, in that confidence, understand what is the main goal of an interview. It's 2 of them. One, for the company, is for them to figure out and find out who is the best person for the available position. That's their job. Your job is to prove to them that you are it. You're that guy. You're that woman. It's you, right? So just think that in and say, hey, you know what? They're looking for somebody. I'm that person. They're going to hire me. Okay? So that's one of the biggest things is understanding the purpose of it. Okay? Next thing is removing negative thoughts. Here's what I want you to think about. Common negative thoughts that come from an interview. 1, oh, I messed up on this answer. They're not going to hire me. That's not true. As a person who has done hundreds and hundreds of interviews, if you mess up on one question, it really is not going to be the end all be all. No different than if you took a 10 question quiz and you got one answer wrong. You still did great. Okay? So people think, oh, if I messed up on this one question, I'm not going to get it. That's not true. Oh, they don't think that they're worthy enough to get the position. Newsflash, if you have the interview, then clearly you have the qualifications to have the job. If you did not, they would not even call you. Keep that in mind. If you did not meet their qualifications, they in turn would not even call you. That goes back to the confidence. All right? So removing negative thoughts. One of the biggest, so that's the biggest thing. That's one of the biggest things. But the number one, outside of confidence, the number one why people mess up on interviews, or what you should do, is practice. If you think that you're just going to walk into an interview, which is already somewhat stressful, and you think that you are now in front of a panel, in front of people who feel like have a job that you want in their hands, and you have not practiced, you are going to fumble. All right? You're going to be nervous. You're not going to do as well as you can. So practice. There are plenty of questions online. All right? Walk around and have your kids, have your spouse, have your partner, have your friends ask you random questions and just prepare yourself for those questions. When I teach interview coaching, I have always been told by my clients that I ask them harder questions than the interview. But you got to get into the habit of asking those questions. Why should they hire you for the job? What are your strengths? What are areas that you need to improve in? See, those are just 3 questions right there. Do you know about the position? See, that's another thing, which brings me to my next point, which is research. Research the job. Don't just walk into the job and you didn't research the job. Like, know what they do. What is their mission statement? What is their vision statement? What will you be doing in this position? Don't just walk in there and be like, oh, okay, I'm just here. No, you're not going to get the job. Okay? So you got to be confident, and confident comes from researching. Confident comes from asking those questions repeatedly, right? Confident comes from you already know that if you were not qualified, you wouldn't even be in the chair. And you are qualified. All right? The next thing is dressing the part. Guys, listen, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have an extensive wardrobe to dress nice for an interview. All right? Dress as appropriate as you can for the job. Now, that means that you need to be dressing business casual for the most part. All right? But you don't need to. Sometimes people confuse dressing nice with dressing sexy. So you can't be walking in there with 8-inch stilettos and a mini skirt, right? Or if you're a guy, you're walking in with something that you wear at the club, that ain't going to work out well for you. Dress for the job. Dress professionally. There's plenty of of resources online on how to dress for the job. If you have a suit jacket, wear it. If you don't have a suit jacket, wear a shirt and tie. You don't have a tie, just wear a nice shirt, a pair of khakis, and a nice pair of shoes. Just look nice. Look presentable. Like I said, I remember this one guy came into this interview and he could not have wanted the job. He came in, he had a t-shirt that was really messed up, and he had sweatpants that were really messed up, and it looked like he literally got out of bed and said, oh, I have an interview, and that was it. I literally stopped the interview and said, do you want this position? And he said, no, my mom told me to come. It seemed like it. That was crazy, right? Making sure your hair looks presentable, right? Nobody, you don't got to get a haircut right before you walk into the room. But guess what? Making sure your hair looks nice, that you look presentable, that things need to be combed, things that need to be brushed, need to be brushed. Making sure that you look the best that you can. Also, tone it down on the cologne and the perfume, because you don't want to be sitting there with somebody and they're looking at you and they're having trouble keeping it together because you done bathed in a whole bunch of cologne. I get it. You might have a really good cologne game, a little spritz here and there, keep it moving. But try to keep it as neutral as possible, okay? But ultimately, the job, they're looking for the right person. All you have to do is make sure that when you walk in there, you've practiced 1,000,000 times, you know the information, right? You know what you're prepared. That's the biggest thing, is being prepared. And that means putting the work beforehand. That's why this episode is called the I in interviewing. All right? Because once you walk in there and you have been you didn't ask yourself 1,000,000 interview questions, mock interview questions. You done researched all of the entire company from top to bottom. You look nice. You feel good. You're going to walk in there with confidence. And as an interviewer, we pick up on that. And you want to be able to just go in and go from there. Okay? And guess what? If you stumble at a question, just take a moment and just say, even if you hit them with this move, that's a really good question. And if you need to take a moment to take a step back to answer it, just answer it. No one's looking to not give you the job. They want to give you the job. It's your job to take it. All right? That is the end of this episode. Guys, thank you again. All right? You can catch each episode hot, ready, fresh. Check out the website. We're on all social media platforms. We're everywhere. Check it out. Check out the previous episodes. Check out the previous seasons. Get caught up, okay? All right. If you want to be a guest on the show, you want to promote something on the show, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, all right? And as always, thank you. You are the best part of the show, all right? So until we see each other again, because we'll see each other again. All right, until we talk again, because you'll tell me about this new job. And you do know that if you get this job based upon watching this episode and you tell me, you do owe me 10% of that first check. All right? Maybe 11%. And we'll talk about it we'll talk about it. And until we share those special moments again, because we're in the season of gratitude. But we're always in the season of gratitude, aren't we? Always remember, guys, if nothing else from your favorite 6'8" life coach, see what you want to do. It's there for you to see it. You can see it. Plan it out. Poor planning leads to poor performance. So plan it out. And if once you do that, there's nothing left but to do. All right, see you same life coaching time, same life coaching channel. See ya.